Good morning, everyone. How are we doing today? Thursday, July 30th. And this is the day that we've been talking about since Sunday, I think. Maybe it was Saturday, where we were kind of highlighting the week ahead. We've gotten kind of half the numbers already, which we will talk about. The other half, more earnings related, will be after hours. As I sit here, I think there's a pretty good chance I will do an after hours session with you as well. I just think there's too many earnings coming out after hours that I think I'm going to do another one later. We'll see what happens. Sometimes the wife has other ideas. But with 13% of the S&P reporting today, it's one of the most active days on the calendar. So we'll likely talk about that. The other thing that's going on that's good news, more sports kick off. The NBA starts today. I thought it started tomorrow, but I guess there's 2 games today with a full slate starting tomorrow. I'm personally interested in that. Sorry, individual bias there. But I have been missing it. So we will see. I think it's going to be weird watching basketball with no crowds. But at this point, I just want to see some live sports, not replays of old games. In the end, the numbers this morning that we told you were coming first off the GDP report from Q2. This is the first cut. There will be a revision potentially in the month ahead. But it went down 32.9, let's call it 33% between friends. Little better than expected, frankly. Personal consumption, which is what really drives our economy, was down 25%. And this is the message I want to give politicians, because I am flabbergasted at their gridlock at this critical time. I wonder how much personal consumption would have been down if the stimulus wasn't there for the folks at the bottom rung of our economy. This is not a normal recession. This is a health recession that has caused a certain segment of our economy to be affected by outsized measures. And this political game of chicken that I see going on right now is not a good look. And, I think this delayed pain that we've talked about for months may start to raise its head starting in the second half and right away in August. It's going to be interesting. Rent collections that were a fear in March and then just weren't, probably become a fear in August. So it'll be interesting to see. The big number for me all week was unemployment claims. Last week it went up. I was willing to write it off as a blip. You just never know. I told you Saturday that if it went up again, that would be a trend, and that would make me nervous. So it went up. New York jobless claims went up to 1.434. It was up from last week. So it is. We've broken the downward trend. We're now coming back. And if we're not careful, this will accelerate, right? We have a lot of stimulus. Think airlines and other hotels who got bailouts that, in casinos. This could accelerate. We may be in for a doozy of a double dip here, and that concerns me. More importantly, continuing claims. I've been highlighting continuing claims for at least 10 or 11 weeks now. It also was up, which again concerns me. I think continuing claims have been up 3 weeks in a row. And again, that does not bode well for our economy. 17 million. 17 million. Man, that's a lot. We already talked about it. 13% of the S&P reports today, either in before or after hours. Probably talk after hours. The Fed meeting kind of goes as I expected. The one little surprise I have is, if it was possible, I think they're even more dovish than before, and I didn't think that was possible. But clearly, they're not going to be raising rates at least until 2022 or 2023. I think they did what they could to point at the risk in the second half. I think the second half has huge risks, especially if politicians don't realize we need a bridge to get to the other side of this thing. So that would be interesting. A couple of things. Dunkin' Brands reported revenue fell 20%. Because breakfast, right, kind of following on McDonald's. They're actually closing stores, down 229 stores closing. Again, retail's in a tough spot. UPS had a blowout number. Good for them. Right? The brown trucks, 65% increase in packages to homes. Just a whopper of a number. They made 213 versus an expectation of 107. UPS traditionally, right, when you compare UPS and FedEx, UPS is traditionally seen as having a strong B2B kind of delivery network. And there was a lot of thought about, are they going to, will they be able to pick up the deliver to home? And they crushed it, right? Traditionally, FedEx also has a bigger international delivery system where UPS is more national. But yeah, UPS blowout number. I think last time I checked, their stock was up 10%. So good on them. O'Reilly Automotive, again, blowout quarter. Man, made $7, $7.10 on an expectation of $4. More people are fixing their cars, right? There's more time at home. They're fixing them. They're not only maintaining them, but they're adding little goodies to them. So O'Reilly Automotive, a blowout quarter. Good for them. Yum Brands, kind of tale of two stories. They beat both top and bottom line, but again, on very low expectations. This is kind of the thing we're seeing, kind of like Starbucks, right? They beat, but the expectations were so low. Where Yum Brands had a little trouble in their earnings was they talked about same-store sales were down a little more than people wanted. So their stock may be suffering this morning. What their real message of the quarter is, every month was better than the preceding month, right? April was the bottom. May was better than April. June is better than May. God, that was harder than it should have been. And then they're saying July is better than June, right? Early signs. So that's the message they wanted to get out. I would tell you again, if we have the bottom rung suddenly with less disposable income, Yum Brands could be hit by that, right? Yum Brands is like KFC and Pizza Hut and Taco Bell and things like that. So it's interesting. One report that caught my attention just because it surprised me was Budweiser. Anheuser-Busch, I think, is the actual company, but the brand is Budweiser. It said beer volume was down 17%. That, I was shocked. I would have thought all the stay at home and all that stuff, but maybe it's the events. Maybe it's the events and restaurants and all of that, but yeah, beer volume down 17%. I would have thought stay at home helped beer. I don't know. I guess not. Clearly not. Just, beer volume was down 17%. The Billionaires in Washington yesterday, I thought for the most part was a complete waste of time. I can only imagine what they were thinking when they were on their G5s heading home. I think the only thing that really came out of it for me that was kind of really market related was Facebook's acquisition of Instagram. There was some talk about that, but it is interesting to see that basically there was general agreement that deal shouldn't have been approved. But frankly, that's not Zuckerberg's fault. He didn't tell the federal government to approve it. So that was kind of, hindsight is 2020, Monday morning quarterbacking, whatever you want to call it. That was disingenuous, I thought. Right? If you didn't think they would be, you didn't want them to merge, say no when you evaluated the deal. Don't come back, I think it's 7 years? Shoot, it might be 8 years, and say that deal shouldn't have been done. Facebook's spent $1 billion on Instagram. It was approved. Nothing you could do about it now. Well, I guess not nothing. They could technically force them to break up, but let's not blame Zuckerberg for that. I think that I'm not a Zuckerberg fan at all, but that's not okay. That was kind of a weak argument, I thought. And then lastly, Procter and Gamble, kind of up on cleaning, right? When I'm thinking about Procter and Gamble and Lysol and all these other products that are reporting bang up numbers, I just keep scratching my head going, is this the best it's ever going to be? Could we have another quarter of, stockpiling? Could we, I mean, eventually, right? This has to go away. It's not going to, take us all out. So yeah, I don't know about the law. I mean, can you imagine Procter and Gamble's comp year on year next year? Oh, we're down 17%, but remember that was Q2 of the health crisis. So I don't know. In the end, very disappointed in the jobless claims number. I'm even more disappointed that increase in jobless claims didn't shake the politicians to get something done. As I said yesterday, I held out hopes for at least a stopgap measure as we end the month. But these, I don't know how I want to say this. I fear these folks that are making these decisions have ulterior motives about hurting other people in elected office, both ways, and they don't care about us, the American people. Certainly not in the right order, right? Maybe they care, but it's kind of like a second care. They're taking care of primary care right now. It is that's career politician behavior. That's not what I always thought politicians should be. Talk about the need for term limits, and being a politician is not it's a career for some people and not a service like it should be. I don't know. This is just so, in my opinion, this event, especially these next 48 hours, are going to show potentially the worst side of politicians. That's my greatest fear is we're going to see the deep dark side and just how much pain they're willing to inflict on us for some political maneuvering or gamesmanship. It's I think it's certainly going to happen, and it's going to be a sad state of affairs. So in the end, I'm not left warm and fuzzy today. I'm kind of down and depressed. I likely will do another one of these after hours talking about earnings, because again, when you have 13% of the S&P reporting, it's kind of a big day. All right, everybody, take care of yourself. Have a wonderful day.